There are not really any words to describe what happened yesterday other than that was kind of a wacko day. Today we're going to be taking a look at the very recent update in the polls because of yesterday's WACO events. And then we're going to take a look at what Justin Trudeau has to say about being a wacko. And then we're going to take a look at the CTV panel and what they have to say about our wacko prime minister. Welcome back to this WACO channel, everyone. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you guys to give a WACO thumbs up on the video, subscribe like a bunch of wackos in case you haven't yet already. And without further ado, let's get into this WACO video. Here we go. You have 211 projected seats for the Conservative Party. And for the past couple of weeks, they've been sitting at 207. So these opinion polls on 338 Canada Federal Polling is showing that calling Justin Trudeau a wacko is only good and beneficial for the polls. Maybe we should all put wacko down in the comments and see how many times wacko can be said in this wacko video. And then when you look at the odds of outcome, it went back up from 98% to 99% likely of winning a majority government and still 99% likely of winning the most seats. That is a wacko outcome for this wacko Conservative government to now take wacko Justin Trudeau out of office. Let's see what Trudeau had to say as he was leaving question period and did this wacko press conference.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. What Mr. Poilievre says, when he is elected, he will have won the right to decide when constitutional rights should be overridden. What do you think, please, sir?
Pierre Poilievre just proposed to override the fundamental freedoms and protections of Canadians. Override the charter that is there to protect women, minorities, to us LGBTQI plus communities. That's not right, and it's not responsible. On top of that, he's spending time with far-right nationalist groups, refusing to condemn them or garbage conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones because he wants their votes. Think about it. That is not responsible leadership. That is dangerous for democracy. It's dangerous for Canadians.
All right. Well, that's a wacko answer from a wacko individual. And Pierre Poilievre has no affiliation with Diagonal Alley, so I don't know what he's talking about. And he can't control what Alex Jones or any other person in the world says, whether it's an endorsement or whether it's criticism. So kind of a wacko answer from a wacko person. But let me know down in the comments on a scale of 1 to wacko, how wacko was that answer from wacko Justin Trudeau. Next up, we have the WACO CTV panel here talking about, with Melissa Lantzman, about what happened yesterday with the WACO events.
Not degrade the sort of decorum of politics.
We want to have the conversation about policy, about the dangerous drug policy that, again, has killed 2,500 people, that kills 6 people a day. And we're going to call it exactly what it is, what Canadians believe that it is, and we want to see the Prime Minister make a reversal on it. That's what we were arguing. That's what we will continue to argue. And these are wacko policies. And it is a word that has been used in the House of Commons many times. In fact, by the leader of the House Leader of the NDP, who can't be here because he's used that word.
No, well, he could be here, but he's used the word. But again, not to describe the Prime Minister. And you heard the way that Minister McKee
rules for thee, not for ye.
That in the House of Commons with things like stopping at the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border. And
you know what? Why don't we just take a look, just take a quick look at what the old leader of the NDP, WACO Mulcair, has to say about this whole WACO situation. Here we go. Let's take a look at this WACO CTV panel.
I agree completely with what Lisa said at the beginning of her answer, that Pierre Poilievre simply offered up the exact wording that Greg Fergus had asked for. I simply withdraw. And then he didn't repeat the other words. He says, and I replaced them with what I said before. That was the exit ramp that the leader of the opposition, the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition in the House, is an extraordinarily important institution. Before you get to the point that Greg Fergus got to today, you've got to go through a heck of a lot of other steps. This was not only precipitous, for me it was manifestly, obviously partisan. And I don't come at that lightly. I remember when Greg Fergus got caught making a very partisan video. I was one of the people who defended him. I've been a House leader in Ottawa. I was a deputy House leader both in power and in opposition in Quebec City, where it could be very rough and tumble. But I've never seen anything like this, Vashi. Never in my career have I seen such, in my view, blatant partisanship from a speaker.
Abuse
I think
of
that he's
power.
disqualified himself from the position, and I am indeed one of the people
Ethics
who defended
violation.
him. When people were calling for his head after that video, I said, it's a rookie mistake. Let him prove that he can be autonomous, independent, act, fairly with everyone. Today, he failed completely.
All right, this WACO House Speaker came into this WACO position with a WACO resume of already existing WACO ethics violations. Greg Fergus has not been qualified for this WACO job since the very beginning. And he's proven over time that he is significantly getting worse, more partisan, more biased, abusing his power. I don't think you've ever seen a WACO House Speaker, any of them, in the history of Canada, mute the microphone for our democratic right. We pay our taxes. We are Canadian citizens. It is our WACO right to see what the hell is being said on that House floor. Unless there's like a fire alarm that's pulled, unless there's protesters up in the balcony, unless there's something that happens outside of the actual political debate and the exchanges from all 338 WACO MPs, it is our right to see and hear what is happening on that federally broadcasted stream. And only one WACO House Speaker has ever abused his power to this extent. Greg Fergus. He needs to go. He needs to find another WACO job for his WACO ass. Get the hell out of there, man. And you even have the ex-NDP leader who used to be a freaking speaker, a deputy speaker, saying, I've defended him in the past, and I think that he shouldn't have this job anymore because of it. We're living in WACO world.
And no surprise, of course, the Bloc Québécois was applauding the speaker for going after the Conservatives, as was the NDP. It's in the natural order of things, but overall, it was an awful performance by Speaker Greg Fergus. He just lost control today. Now, the Conservatives walking out poses a simple problem for them. How and when and on what conditions do they walk back in? Because they're never going to get a majority of people voting to get rid of Fergus. But Fergus should do the right thing and simply step down. He cannot, with any credibility, based on my many years' experience in both provincial legislature and in the House of Commons, he cannot continue to do that job credibly himself. He made a huge mistake. When Poilievre said, I simply withdraw, he should have ended it there. Instead, he went after the leader of the opposition. Unbelievable. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I think that it was the best case Ontario for WACO, for the WACO outcome of what happened for Pierre Poilievre to have doubled down and tripled down and then walked out. And if you were watching the stream on House of Canada, which I highly recommend you go watch, I'm going to try and put this video out before question period happens today, and we're going to be streaming it live on House of Canada. I had been screaming at the top of my lungs with a very organic reaction because I'm just hyped up on so much coffee when I watch this WACO shit that the best outcome Pierre Poilievre could have ever done was double down, triple down, get kicked out, and leave, because that's showing the world how corrupt WACO Greg Fergus is, how corrupt the NDP, the Bloc, and the Liberal parties really are advocating for that. And the best thing to do when you're being, confronted by a bully is to walk away. And that's exactly what Pierre did. He took control of the situation. He didn't let other people control his fate or his destiny. And he walked out. And it wasn't just him that walked out, like in the past when Justin Trudeau has done that on his own. Full solidarity, a good friendships, good camaraderie between the Conservative Party of Canada and all of its members. And I think that was the absolute best outcome. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens today. Will Greg Fergus get his WACO ass fired and step down, or will he continue his WACO job? We're going to have to find out on House of Canada. I will leave the link down in the description of this video and the pinned comment. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, everybody. On your way out, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already. And I'll see you WACO people in the next video, hopefully on the stream. Bye for now.